This is Diana Sullivan in Austin, Texas. I am showing you the idea of using a double bed color changer on the main bed only. In other words, a single bed. This is a bulky machine and there is no single bed color changer for it, so that would be really nice if it worked. I had a mosaic video a while ago and one of the commenters said that they regularly do this, and they also said that they bring the ribber up into position to do it. Now, I can tell you right now that one of our challenges is going to be to get the stitches to knit off, and I'll explain that as I go. But when you first get the color changer out, be sure to consult the manual. Make sure that it's assembled correctly for the bulky machine. This 900 can be used on the standard machine or the bulky machine, and they're put together a little differently for the two different machines. You also have to seat it properly on the left end and tighten it down so it's still. And I have the machine tilted. That'll be important. You also need to have this fine knit bar in. This is going to be important on this. It's going to help the stitches to knit off. I like to use the upper tension unit that comes with the color changer. It does a little better with that upper tension unit. Now, before I can even really demonstrate the use of the changer, I need to knit a few rows so that I've got some knitting here, and then I need to put fairly heavy weights on it. Since I don't have the regular sinker plate on the front of the carriage, and the regular sinker plate has the wheels that help the stitches move off, I need the weight to help those stitches slide through and knit off. So I'm going to pick up the white yarn, and I'm going to get started and knit a few rows before I do anything with the color changer. And I'm on medium tension. I've just gotten one row on, and I'm checking my upper tension a little bit. I'm hanging a comb, and now I'm getting some big weights. I'm not sure how much weight I need to get these stitches to knit off properly, but I'm putting quite a bit of weight on here. And I'll put in the in-between needles and get a few rows of knitting on. That'll help equalize the pressure from the weight. And it's a lot of weight, so it made a little extra noise when I knitted. Now I'm going to pick up a color and see if I can simply change colors and make a stripe. So I push the carriage all the way to the left until it clicks. And then I push the button for the other color. I just have two colors here. And I come in and I check. Sometimes my color changer doesn't work right and it gets caught in the feeder and I end up with two colors in the feeder. That tends to happen early in the process. Now, my commenter said to put the ribber up, but I have a theory that you don't have to. We'll try it with the ribber up. So I'm going to knit a couple rows with this lavender yarn, and it knitted just fine. I'll change, click, and switch. And now I have the white yarn, and I'm checking the purple, making sure that it didn't go in the feeder with the white. And I'll do this a few times and just verify that the changer works over and over. Everything seems to be good. Now, I don't think it's necessary to have the ribber up, so I'm going to drop it. I'm going to put ribber covers on because this way I don't hook anything on all these different protuberances. So now my ribber's covered, my ribber's down. I think it's still going to work. sure the white is free. It's still working. However, you could have the experience with your knitting that some of these stitches don't knit off, because what's making them knit off is the combination of the angle of the bed, which is tilted up, and the weight that's hanging on it. And on a tighter tension, like I'll roll it a little tighter, maybe the stitches won't knit off. You'll probably have an easier time of it if you are using a thinner yarn. That might help. For me, it is still knitting off, although it looks too tight, so I'm loosening it back out. Now, the original video was Mosaic, and Mosaic uses the patterning device. So I'm going to go ahead and program the machine so that I can use its patterning capability. The one that I was doing was this one. It's a very striking two-color tuck, and on the back there are no floats. Now I also tried it on a two-color slip, which is a little narrower fabric, and on the back there are floats. Floats can catch fingers and toes, they can snag, and you can get some unsatisfactory results with floats. So we'll start with this two-color tuck, and this particular one is pre-programmed in my 270 machine. I'm going to use this one, number 141. I'm going to press the buttons until I get to the pattern number light. And if it had another number, I could clear that and put in 141. Then I press step until the ready light comes on. And now I can select needles. I'm going to go ahead and knit to the right and then select the first row of needles. My carriage is on the right, and I'm turning on needle selection. That's KC on this machine. It should always select the end needles because it's a tuck design, so I'll watch and make sure it does. There's a way to turn that off underneath the carriage, and I want to make sure I didn't do that to myself. And when I go from right to left, it should select the first row of needles. So I come over, knit the row, and it selected the first row of needles. Now that I have the first row of needles selected, I can push in the tuck. And what I'm going to do is knit 2 rows with the white and then knit 2 rows with the lavender. The tuck buttons are in, and to the left and the right with the white. Should have said to the right and then to the left. And this yarn is a little tight. Anyway, I'm going to go and pick up the lavender. Push all the way till it clicks, pick up the lavender, come out, make sure the white is free, and I'm just going to knit 2 rows now with the lavender. Change color, 2 rows with the white, change color, 2 rows with the lavender, and I am continuing to get tight yarn on one end here, so I'm going to take a tool and just pull this yarn down so it's not ridiculously tight. And I'm going to add an extra weight over there. So 2 rows with lavender, two rows with white, two rows with lavender, just going to do enough so we have a little bit of a sample. So I would say that this worked really very successfully and was pretty easy to do. But you may run into a problem where the stitches do not knit off well because you're not using the regular sinker plate. And if you turn your regular sinker plate over, you see the wheels that rub along the yarn as it's caught right along here. And then the stitches are formed as the needles pull that yarn under there. Without that pressure on there, you may find that your yarn doesn't knit off. So you can play with weights, you can play with a little thinner yarn or a little looser tension if that occurs. I'm going to knit a few rows plain and take the sample off and show you how this turned out. So I am canceling patterning, which made the buttons pop out, and I'm just going to knit a few rows plain. If you've got a KRC 900, you can use it single bed, and I hope you'll give it a try. I thought that was kind of a fun exercise, and I see that I could save an awful lot of time by using the color changer instead of having to hand change every single color. Hope you'll give that a try, and I will see you next time.